Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys Secret Base figure preview video. Before we begin, I have to say a huge thank you to Ryan Kirkwood for going out in person and snapping these stunning high-res pictures. Show Ryan some love in the comments below. Without him, this series literally wouldn't be possible. If you are looking to pre-order your very own Batman Armory set, it is available from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is in the description below. They have Pay in 4 and a loyalty program. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as a brand new Hot Toys review or figure preview video goes live on the channel. Look, at this point, this shouldn't be a surprise, but it still was to me. I mean, we saw this teased at multiple different conventions over the years. They wheeled this thing out every time they had a new convention. They wanted to show a little bit of DC love, just a little. They would put this thing on display, and I thought nothing would ever come of it, really. They made the DX19, and that was the ultimate version of the Dark Knight suit in 1/6 scale. Wrong, it seems, because they are making another one. They cannot seem to let go of the Dark Knight version of Batman. They want to keep going back to that well over and over and over again. Can we really blame them, though? It's suckers like me that every time they announce a new version of Christian Bale's Batsuit, it sells. I pick it up, a lot of you pick it up, we put it on our shelves, and there we go, that's the latest best version. For a while at least, until they go back and redo it once again. Is this going to be finally the last one? The ultimate, the definitive version? I don't think there is such a thing. I reckon sometime in the future they'll probably make another one, and then we'll do this whole song and dance all over again. Right, with all that out the way, let's talk about Bruce Wayne. This Armory set does include a Bruce Wayne. Not a figure though, it's a 1/6 scale statue of Bruce Wayne. I guess they just wanted to pack as much detail into the body as possible. That knee, it does look very real. He's got the brace on his legs, he's still wearing a fabric outfit, so maybe you can take the outfit on and pop it on a Fison body and then you can have yourself a Bruce Wayne. Who knows, we'll have to wait and see. The only tricky part would be getting the shirt off because his arms are crossed. How did they get that on there? Well, probably his arms are pegged into the body, so maybe you would be able to take it off. We'll have to wait and see. The elbow definition, I don't think I've ever said that before, is fantastic. All of the definition throughout the body is on point. Skin texture, we've got separation for the muscles, it's well painted. And the pose, the proportions, it's all perfect because it's a statue. It doesn't have to pose, it doesn't have to move, so it can be perfect every single time right out the box. Are people going to like a 1/6 scale pre-pose Bruce Wayne? Well, you all will have to let me know in the comments down below. Do you like this or not? The head sculpt is new, and it's worth mentioning. I know earlier I said the Dark Knight version of Batman. This is the Dark Knight Rises version of Batman. So Christian Bale, he'd gotten a little bit older, and Bruce Wayne, he was also a little bit older at this point. The head sculpt reflects that. It looks like an older version of Christian Bale. Even though I love the DX19 head sculpt, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that one's bad, not by any means, just don't hear what I'm not saying. This one, I think, is a little bit stronger. I think the likeness is better, I like the expression more with the parted lips and the furrowed brow, and you've got moving eyes. Finally, for a Christian Bale head sculpt, we have moving eyes. It only took 55,000 different versions of this particular character in 1/6 scale to get moving eyes for a Bruce Wayne head sculpt, but it's happened. And it's compatible with the Batman body. If you don't want to display it on this Bruce Wayne statue, then pop the head sculpt off and pop it on Batman's body. What would you do with Bruce Wayne's body now that it's headless? Well, I don't know. You will have to let me know what you plan to do with that body if you're going to display the Batsuit with the Bruce Wayne head sculpt on. Now, I'm pretty excited to get this statue just to see what that means for future Hot Toys figures. Will we see more 1/6 scale statues? I certainly think they're testing the waters with this set. If this does well, for future characters that don't need to be in crazy poses, that are accompanying pieces to the main event, which is of course the Batsuit, it could be possible. Maybe future power pose statue Bruce Wayne figures could make their way into our collections. We will have to wait and see. Speaking of the Batsuit, We will discuss what's new about it when we get to those pieces. If you're sitting here thinking, wait a second, that looks exactly the same as the DX19. I thought so originally too, then I started to notice the little and very subtle differences. The boots aren't one of them, they look exactly the same as all of the previous versions back to DX12 split-cut boot design. I'm fine with that, they look awesome. Then the Armory itself, it is translucent plastic, just like it was in the film when Bruce Wayne and Alfred were arguing in front of it. We did get a pretty darn good look at this thing. And it looks spot on to me. The perspex is optically clear enough that you can see through it. There is still a touch of opaqueness, so it doesn't look too clear and cheap and nasty. And they have tried something new on the surface. If you're sitting here thinking, hang on, that looks absolutely filthy. It's dirty, it's grimy, and there's a whole bunch of water speckling on it. That's by design. They've painted it to look that way. They've added the dirt and grime and the little raindrops. How did they make them look so convincingly real? I'm not quite sure, but I like it. It looks exactly as it did in the film. When it raised up from the ground, it had little water droplets on the surface. It was in that damp cave, so that makes sense to me. Then the Batsuit, they have apparently adjusted some of the proportions here and there, and the biggest change, my favorite change, he no longer has the gloves sticking out of the gauntlets. That was something that just drove me crazy. Every single time we got a new version of this suit, the gloves were still poking out of the gauntlets. Why could they not have fixed that? Why could they not have given us different variations? In the films, in The Dark Knight, the gloves were sticking out. In The Dark Knight Rises, they weren't. But still, even though we had figures from The Dark Knight Rises, they were always sticking out. Not this time, they're stuck underneath the gauntlets, and it looks so much better. Screen accurate and much more seamless. This is what I have been waiting for. The belt does look a little bit more saturated than I was expecting, and all the canisters, I would assume, can be removed and popped into the armory if you so choose. The rest of the armor plates have been moved around, and they have changed up the shoulder pad designs, allegedly. I can't see a massive difference. Maybe I will in hand. I'll just have to compare this to the DX19, and don't worry, of course I will in the actual review for this thing when we eventually get it. It's funny that all of the main new parts aren't even on display here. We don't get to see the cape, and we don't get to see the new cowled head sculpt. Instead, they went with the empty cowl, and they just popped the suit in the armory. They could have also displayed a fully suited and booted Batman in front of the armory, and they did do that. It wasn't the new version though, it was the DX19. I'm not sure who made that decision because chances are they would definitely have more than just one prototype of this new version of the Batsuit. Another good look at those gloves, by the way, tucked into the gauntlets. And supposedly the shoulder pads are slightly changed up compared to the DX19. I never had a massive issue with the DX19 shoulder pads, but there were custom makers out there like OT Customs making new shoulder pads, new gauntlets, new head sculpts, and Hot Toys, they must have wanted a piece of that action, and therefore they decided to update the Batsuit and give us another version. This empty cowl looks a little bit weird, or maybe it's just me. The neck is quite long, and the eye sockets, it almost looks as though Bruce Wayne's skin would be there and they've just painted that black and then taken the eyes out. I don't think that extra ridge is supposed to be there. I could totally be wrong. It's been a while since I've watched The Dark Knight Rises, or in fact, any of the Nolan trilogy. Might have to go back and check that and let you know. One of my favourite things about this armory is that it is translucent, and you can see that. Which means all of the linkages, and the pistons, and the hoses, and all the other greebly bits and pieces, you can see all of that. It's on full display. Which just adds for more visual interest. I think this armory is more striking compared to the Dark Knight armory. That's a controversial and a hot take, I'm sure. Everyone will have their preferred Batman armory, and maybe this is not it for you. For me, it is. Plus that speckled look on the surface to make it look like it's wet and it's been rained on, that just adds even more detail. This thing, it's going to be a showstopper, and I cannot wait to get it in hand. Now, the interesting thing about this set is if you take each of the individual pieces, they're not all that exciting on their own. I don't think the Bruce Wayne, I don't think is a seller who wants just a pre-posed Bruce Wayne statue. Some people, I'm not saying no one does, but I don't think that's the seller. I also don't think the Batsuit has enough changes to warrant picking it up on its own, nor do I think the Armory is impressive enough to warrant picking it up just by itself. But when you put all of it together, the Bruce Wayne, the new head sculpt with the moving eyes, the new Batman cowled head sculpt, the new Armory, and the various changes to the suit, the armor, and the gauntlets, then it starts to become greater than the sum of its parts, and makes a lot more sense to me. You don't get anywhere near as many weapons as the original Armory though. If you want a sheer part count win with as many weapons and gadgets and bits and pieces as possible, that original Armory has you covered, and this set is also down one Alfred. You do not get Alfred with this set, and I'm not really happy with that. I would have loved to have had an updated version of Alfred. Especially given that the scene that this Armory and this look for Bruce Wayne was based off featured Bruce Wayne arguing with Alfred. Arguably, he should be included. Not for Hot Toys though, they thought, no need, we gave them an Alfred last time, right? That's good enough. We don't need to make another one. I'm hoping that if they time it just right, they could do a Toy Fair exclusive Alfred and have it release at the exact same time as this Armory. Hot Toys, they're not great with timing, so I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. If you are looking to pre-order this set, if you have the original and you want to upgrade to the new version of the Batsuit, a new Bruce Wayne head sculpt with moving eyes and all the other good stuff that we've mentioned, or you just don't have an Armory, I have popped the link to toyswonderland.com in the description below. They have Pay in 4 and a loyalty program. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe button, bell notification icon, and join button, if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.